For over 200 years, Americans in uniform have often served the country by speaking out against its government's policies. Americans in uniform have insisted on honoring the values that they were taught, even when it meant disobeying orders. In 1779, people were starving in Philadelphia, so on October 4th, soldiers marched here to confront the nation's top money man, James Wilson. Frederick Douglass' son Lewis fought in the Civil War, but spoke strongly against the new war in the Philippines. In World War I, soldiers wrote home about war crimes and sometimes refused to fight. The Greatest Generation sat in for better housing in 1946 and jump-started the movement against the Vietnam War, in which soldiers were priests, politicos, poets, and pranksters. Though you might also think of this guy. It's our present, too. From the Boston Massacre to Bradley Manning, American soldiers have fought to protect America and to protect America's values from injustice. While from each of these wars there are hundreds of individual books and testimonials, never before has there been a single comprehensive history of soldiers and veterans brave enough to question authority when the truth demanded it. Until now.
My name's Chris Lombardi. I'm the author of I Ain't Marching Anymore, Soldiers Who Dissent. It's a book that's definitely going to be published, but I need your help to get it to the finish line. I'm not a soldier or a veteran. I've been a writer all my life. But for years I worked on the GI Rights Hotline, a national hotline when soldiers call when they're in some kind of distress. And many of my best counselors that worked with me were veterans, many of them from Vietnam War. And we would have talks about everything because they were also activists. And eventually one of them said, you know, if you want real social change in this country, what you need is us, the anti-war veteran. Then I became a journalist. I worked really hard. I won a few awards and changed a few laws. But I never forgot those conversations, those veterans, those soldiers. And then when the 21st century war started, I knew I wanted to tell more of those stories. About 6 years ago, I started working on this book about soldiers who stand up to injustice. I got some support from Columbia to help me develop it. And in 2007, I got a contract with the University of California Press. So what have I been doing since then? What do you think I've been doing? I've been reading, I've been researching, I've been talking to hundreds of people. I may have even talked to you, scholars, activists, veterans. I've collected so many stories, some of them from 1754, some of them from 15 minutes ago, some of them from a protest that happened before you turned on your computer. Every single one of them has deepened my belief and my understanding that soldiers who dissent are both patriotic and powerful, that dissent becomes part of our culture and it's part of our history. What I need now is time. And I have a deadline of September 2013, probably the last deadline I'll ever get, to take everything I've got, hundreds of pages of material, and turn them into a book that they'll publish, and the additional resources, like an ebook and web resources and everything else that we can create that people can really make some use of this. But I need to really focus on it. I need to only be doing this. That's why I have 2 goals right now on the Kickstarter. One will support me for 9 months or so while I'm finishing the manuscript and making it as good as I can. Then, the next one is to help me take it to the next step, the next stage, with a professional editor. Either one would be great. I have a bunch of rewards on this Kickstarter page that offer opportunities for you to be part of this, and it would be great if you would. Thanks, bye.